and we're here today to give you our very top tips. In the spirit of indie publishing, we are having a bit of an experiment. So I thought, rather than me standing here for an hour talking about, what's the best thing to do, because there are many opinions in the first place, but also because I thought it would be really interesting for you to meet, as well as some author voices. I'm an author, obviously. Joanna Penn down here at the end, Mel Sharrett, Vanessa in the middle. We all write, I don't know about the rest of them, maybe they do too, they don't let on. But also we have on the panel some of these suppliers who are the people you will be dealing with already if you are publishing your own work, or who you will want to deal with. So I'm just going to really quickly fly through and say that we have Joanna Penn, who I know an awful lot of you will know, and some of you may even be in the room because she's here. Author, creative entrepreneur, and inspiration to the whole world of writing. Beside her is Barbara from ePubli, a very interesting German self-publishing platform. We have Libby, whose company, this very book fair, is launching a really interesting platform for writers to sell their translation rights and for sellers to come and buy, and it can all happen online. So it's a whole new adventure in rights and distribution. Beside her is Vanessa, who Writing.ie, and Writing.ie now broadcasts to the world, and of course the Irish are the best writers in the world, so writing service in Ireland has to be superlative, and it is. The wonderful Kobo Writing Life, and those of you who were at our launch Open Up to Indie Authors yesterday with Kobo will realise what a fantastic support Kobo Writing Life is. That's Diego, and he'll be talking to you about how they do what they do. It's really interesting. And all the way from America, we have Ingram. Ingram Spark is a really interesting platform for indie, anybody who's thinking of going indie and going into print. So print is something you want to do, and you want to get it to the whole wide world. Ingram has a lot to say to you. And then we have the super successful, if you haven't read her already, it's time you did, Mel Sharrett, who's going to be talking basically from her perspective as a very high-selling indie publisher. And last but not least in the indie publishing scene, somebody who needs no introduction, Amazon. Okay, Darren Hardy, who's very new. We have Amazon in the UK here now, and Darren is heading up the office there, so I know some of you will want to talk to him about that. Okay, so I am going to move very, very swiftly. They get 5 minutes each. They're going to tell you their very top publishing tip, and first up is Joanna Penn. The podium.
One of the things that I think is very important is you understanding where you fit in the market. Now, who here wants to make good money, good income from their books?
Nobody.
Looks like most of you. Okay, who thinks their book is unique? Okay, this is good, because my tip is do not think your book is unique. Because if your book is unique, you're not going to sell commercially. Basically, you have to think about where you fit in the market. So when I say I write thrillers on the edge, and I use the on the edge, because you know what thrillers are? Thrillers bring up something in your head. On the edge, I'm kind of on the edge of crime, on the edge of horror, on the edge of a few other things, action, adventure, that type of thing. But that's kind of how I'm saying my brand. Now, I also say my books are like Dan Brown meets Lara Croft. Does that give you an image in your head?
Yeah.
Yeah? So that's what you have to be thinking. Okay, who's famous in here? Who's world famous apart from now? Okay, so most of us in here are not famous. People don't know who we are. So you have to try and think, how can I reach an audience who already like a type of book? Okay, so even if you are, who's writing literary fiction? A few? Okay, you guys, this is hard for you, but you have to do it. Because now on Amazon, I'm sure Darren will back me up here, you don't just have literary fiction anymore. You have subcategories. So historical literary fiction. You have other things. That's the one I remember. But you have other things under that. So that's really important for you guys to remember. This will help you with everything. This will help you with your cover design. You can go into Amazon, Kobo, any of the online bookstores, look at the top 100 books in the genre you're looking at. and literary fiction is a genre, absolutely. And I'm using genre as category, basically. So you can look at the cover design, you can look at titles, you can look at how the authors do their website branding, you can look at what they do on social media. But if you don't know where you fit in the market, you won't be able to do any of that type of thing. Okay, so that, I think that's actually it for me. Bye. And then you can hear from everyone else and do questions afterwards.
So hi everybody, I'm Barbara, I'm from ALLi. It's the biggest German self-publishing platform so far. My tip, well, I wanted to give you some insights into the German market because we think it's really important for authors to look across borders and to benefit from different countries and different distribution platforms. So I don't know if you know that the German book market is not only Germany but also Austria and Switzerland, so it's quite big, and it's the biggest European market after the UK for American books in print, and the third biggest ebook market for American ebooks in sales. So it's a key market for books written in English. I hope you know that the Germans love everything that comes from Britain. So there are really German authors who use British names, British authors' names. For example, romantic novels are always set on the British countryside. It's kind of the German idea of British romantic. And we have the same bestsellers, actually English and American books are all over the place. We also love the royal, so maybe that might be a book idea to enter the German book market. And so our tip is to keep your British name and be as British as possible and enter the German book market. But the most important tip we wanted to give you is to really distribute your book worldwide. So we at ALLi, we distribute your books to Amazon and to all the local bookstores, as I said. And for ebooks, we distribute it to all important distributors like Apple, Amazon, Kobo, all they're sitting here, and also Sony, Texter. But there's a very important alliance of bookstores in Germany, namely Hugendubel, Weltbild, Bertelsmann. I don't know if you know them, but they are huge in Germany. And the alliance is called Tolino, and these have 40% of the market share, so you shouldn't miss to distribute your books via these bookstores as well. So this is actually, in one sentence, look across borders and benefit from different countries and different distribution platforms. It's I think, a key fact for you as English authors as well.
Hello, I'm Libby. I'm from ALLi, which is an online trading platform for authors, literary agents and publishers. So the main thing I wanted to talk to you was rights. As an unpublished author or a self-published author, you will own translation rights, publishing rights as in print and digital, first and second serialization, sorry I've got a list here so I don't miss it, TV, film, dramatization, digest, TV and radio straight reading, book club, which is where books sell through companies, audio, large print and anthology and quotation. So what you can do with ALLi is list them onto the platform, which I think is really important, so that literary agents and publishers can see what's available. So my top tip would be to just research what you're doing in terms of rights and licensing. So what rights deals are going on and where, and just start talking to publishers and agents, go to book fairs, network, list what rights you actually own and think about what appeal these might have in terms of territories, languages, formats. What does your book offer? What do you think would be best to do with it? Finish and edit your manuscript, make sure the work is available and start contacting in terms of samples, previews, make it all available and start contacting. Make sure any interested parties you go back to and keep them up to date with what you're doing. By partnering with the Alliance, we want you to get started to think about your rights and the most cost-effective way of protecting copyright, maximise your licensing and book rights and permissions, and we actually offer the Alliance members 50% off membership, so get in touch if you ever want to learn more about rights and licensing, basically.
Hi there everybody. As Orna said, my name is Vanessa O'Loughlin. I run a website called writing.ie, which is the Irish National Writing Resources website. It has about 4,000–5,000 different items on it, all about writing. Lots and lots on self-publishing, lots on publishing generally. But I actually came to that through setting up a publishing consultancy, and that's called the Inkwell Group. And we work both with self-published authors and authors who want to get published through the trade and go into the trade. And so I work with people basically to make their books better, to get them up to a standard where they can work effectively in self-publishing, or I hook them up with agents and publishers. So my tips are, make the book the best they can be. Try, particularly if you're writing fiction, and this goes for non-fiction too, to start your book with a hook, okay? To get your reader into the story. You are asking a reader to invest their time and their money in your book. So as an author, you have a contract with them to deliver something interesting and something exciting. And so, start the hook, draw them into the story. Think about clear characterization. Think about the fact that your characters change as a result of your story. Okay, that's absolutely crucial. Without a character change, there is no story. I was pitching a book to a publishing house this morning, and it's a memoir. And the editor said to me, well, how did he change as a result of a particular thing that happened? So change is vital in all areas. Just in terms of self-editing and getting that book really polished before you put it out anywhere, think about reading it out loud. Okay? It is vital to print off your book before you do anything with it. Print it off and read it through and use your pen. How many people have printed off their book and gone through it that way when they're editing? Loads of you, excellent. I was talking to somebody yesterday and she said, oh no, I haven't printed it yet. It looks totally different. I know authors who print on different coloured paper and authors who use a different font when they print it out, so that because it, to try and make it look different. One of the things about being an author when you're writing your own work is that you can't see the mistakes, okay? Your brain puts in the words that you think are there, even though they're not. And I know as a writer myself that it's extremely difficult for you as a writer to see what's on the page. When I critique, when I work with authors, I often find myself saying to people, it's all in your head, but you haven't quite yet brought it to the page. As a reader, I'm not seeing the full picture. And so it's very, very important that you try and do that. And that can be very tricky. I actually know I met one author who puts his PDF into his Kindle, and he uses the voice on the Kindle to read back the script to him. So although it's a slightly automated voice, it really gives him an idea of where the words jar. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for it to flow as much as possible. You're trying not to try to keep the words as simple as possible. And Roddy Doyle said to me, you try and make sure that the words don't get in the way of the story. Okay, you try and keep it as simple as possible for your reader. So all of those things are vitally important. And also getting expert help if you can. Other writers can help you. Finish now. Other writers can help you hugely. So rather than just readers, writers are very, very useful. I'm being sent off.
Hello, my name is Diego Morano. You might have already seen me around on the course of the last 2 days. For those who haven't, I am the Copywriting Life UK manager. Copywriting Life is the co-publishing platform. Through Copywriting Life, you can publish your ebooks free of charge, and then you can promote and sell them globally. My top tip, actually I've got two. The first one is think global, because you are English-speaking authors and you have the master key. You can definitely publish and sell everywhere, and think in the long term. So have a strategy. I understand, speaking to authors from my experience, that when you start writing, you are completely focused on your book, on your writing. You want to make it very good, but you have to start thinking of marketing, and because when you are done with your book, that is the time when the party starts. Because you have to start promoting yourself, you have to be enterprising, and in order to do that, you need to have a strategy. Maybe think in terms of a series, of course. I understand, I work for a digital company, and the learning curve at the beginning can be very daunting. But there are great opportunities. The Alliance of Independent Authors is a great opportunity for you to meet with other authors, to share your experience, to learn new things. Again, from my experience with Copywriting Live and from the service we provide, authors and publishers can definitely be in touch with the market. They can understand what is going on, when are you selling, what are you selling, and you can just try. Keep trying, and if it doesn't go well at the beginning, you have just to change one element at a time and see how it goes. So basically, what I think about digital distribution and digital publishing, it is that you have a great opportunity, globally speaking, and also what you're looking for is visibility. So there is not a difference, there is not a separation between digital publishing and print publishing. I work for a digital publishing company, but of course print publishing is a great asset. There is not a separation between self-publishing and trade publishing. Through Copywriting Life, you can definitely publish and then end up finding a publisher. And if you do that, best luck, because publishing with a publisher is, of course, a great experience. If you don't have the opportunity to do that, through self-publishing, today you can publish and make that happen. Thank you very much.
So I am Robin Cutler. I think I should get more time because I talk slower. I'm American and also a Southern American, so bear with me here. So what we wanted to do at Ingram, and we launched this about a little less than a year ago, was to marry together our print-on-demand service with our ebook distribution service together, and then create a user-friendly interface especially designed for self-publishers. And that's really what Ingram Spark is. So, we do distribution to about 39,000 print retail partners and 80 online e-retailers, including Kobo. So we have the broadest distribution right now in the world, and we are global. So, the tips that I want to talk to you a little bit more about is using print on demand. When you say, look, print out your book and read it, print on demand is a perfect way to do that without having to invest a lot of money. So there are other print on demand providers. I believe Lightning Source LSI is the premier print on demand company in the world. Use print on demand. That allows you to not have to invest in inventory. You won't have to have a warehouse. You won't have to be packing books on your dining room table, which is the last thing you want to do as a self-publisher. And it allows you also to revise the book as you need to fairly easily. So use print on demand, especially as you're getting started. True print on demand is really one copy. LSI allows you to print one copy at a time. My other tip here is consider multiple formats. I know everybody gets all excited about ebooks. Ebooks are still only about 30% of the book market. Don't forget print. Print's more alive than it's ever been. But consider what sort of format your audience wants. You want to be able to provide different formats depending on what your readers want to read. So some want to read ebooks, some want to read print books, some want still to buy hardcover books. LSI actually allows you to order and set up your title for both hardcover and paperback. We also do color. Don't forget color. Color, we have an option now that's just a little bit more than what a black and white print-on-demand interior costs. So consider color. The other tip I have here is to purchase your own ISBNs, and I think this is really important. As you distribute your book, and over the lifetime of a book, you need an ISBN for each format that you have of the book, and that would be an ISBN for your print, if you have hardcover and paperback, and also your ebook. And finally, and I think this is probably my most important tip, support your local bookseller. Become really, a patron of the local bookseller, and I would include libraries in this too. It's important to support them not only with your patronage, but also to form a relationship with them. They know best about covers and what is going to sell through their store. So really support them. They are a dying breed, I think. There's less of them in 2014 than there were like 10 years ago. So I think this is really important. They perform an important value to the community.
A lot of you have probably written one book, maybe two, and some of them are selling, some of them aren't selling, so I just thought I'd say experiment. tweak your product description. I continually have a look at everybody's in the top 100s all the time to see why they're selling, what they're doing. I'm continually looking at the charts to see if there's a particular series that's selling, and is the first one going as well as the second, are they all bringing themselves up, that type of thing, what genre is selling, your keywords. I'm obviously going to be talking predominantly about Kindle because I am a Kindle author. The keywords at the back, you have seven to choose from. Don't leave them the same. Just try. Go in a couple of months later. Just tweak something else and go. What I'm trying to say is not everything's black and white on the day that you publish it. Just continue to evolve. Categories. I changed mine from psychological to crime to psychological suspense to romantic suspense, whatever. Always try and tweak. Sometimes they'll go high up the chart and they'll get seen a bit more, and then I've changed over to another one. Just try and experiment. My books, I call them the grit-lit. They are in between psychological thriller, suspense and crime. So I haven't really got one category, so I do change around a bit. Your blurb, always try and get different keywords in. I'll go constantly and change my blurb, look at somebody else's. It's learning from everybody else, really. Just have a look what they're doing. Price pulse, if something's working really well. If one of my books is coming down the charts, I'll put it out for 99 pence, put a sale on, or I'll put one up and then swap them over, do another promotion, go on a blog and give. I don't actually give free books away, but I don't see a problem with it. If you want to give a free book away, I certainly will do if any of mine start to drop. Write another book, that's the best advice I've heard so far all through this past couple of days, is if you want to market yourself, write another book, because that markets the rest of the books for you. And that's something I picked up off Joanna, because I was going to say, oh, I've got a series, I'm going to do a new blog on my series, I'm going to do something weekly on there. Just don't do that, just write another book, because that'll sell the rest of it. It was just a bit of a light bulb moment. I'm on Twitter all the time because I have my own hashtag, but I have a hashtag called Keep On Keeping On, and I think that's basically the advice I can give you. Just keep at it, just do it.
So I think obviously first thing is write a book. I mean it sounds obvious, but the number of people we've spoken to over the last few days say, well, I'm going to write a book, I'm thinking about writing a book. Write the book, sit down, get it out there, and actually go through that process, step number one. I can't advise you about that. There's some great people here who can about writing, but I can certainly help you, and KDP can certainly help you get that book to your readers. So I think the second tip I would give you is organise your publishing. Think about the title, think about the product description, think about the metadata. It sounds a bit dull, but the metadata in the digital age is really important in terms of getting your book out there. As Mel was talking about, what are the keywords you're going to use to make sure your book surfaces to the right people? And resist the urge to just think of the best keywords that you can that will sort of chime with every best-selling title out there. If it's not relevant for your book, readers and customers will work that out and it won't work in the longer term. So think that through carefully and make sure that you're spending the time to give your book the best chance it can to succeed. And I think my sort of final tip is get out there and talk to people. Talk to some authors who've got some great experience, share knowledge. And Mel is a best-selling author, and she said to me a number of times over the last couple of days, I've learned so much talking to other authors. There are so many things that you'll have tried that Mel hasn't. There'll be lots that she's tried that you haven't. Just share that knowledge. Just get out there, talk to each other, work out what works, what doesn't, what maybe didn't work a year ago that will work now, and just keep experimenting. And I think to echo how Mel finished, just keep at it, just keep working. What didn't work yesterday may work next week, and if you just keep going, sooner or later you'll find the right package for you. And that will matter.
I'm going to give you my top tip, two tips I suppose, before we take questions, and I'm sure you've loads of questions for our panel. And the first thing I want to say is think about yourself as making partnerships. We call it self-publishing. It's an absolute misnomer. We don't do it by ourselves. We call it independent author, and the reasons that we do that, and it's really important that we see ourselves as the creative director of our own work from start to finish. That's certainly why I'm here, and I know that's why a lot of you are here. But we're not independent in the sense that we are isolated from other people, because this is all about communication, and we work with others to do that. So we work with the services that are there, we work with other authors, we work with anybody who can help us to get our book into the hands of readers. That includes reviewers and librarians and everybody else. So you've got to kind of If you are the kind of person, and a lot of writers are, let's face it, who doesn't define as a people person, then there is a challenge. You've got to work out how are you going to make those partnerships work. And of course, it's wonderful because we have online now, so the Introverts Connection is, you can be an introvert at home, in your pajamas, you never need to get dressed, but you still can actually have very good relationships with people. And certainly, I know we're all meeting people that we know really, really well online here today for the first, in the book fair for the first time. And the other tip I have, and you're not doing this, I know you're not, and everybody has to do this, read the contracts, please. People are signing up to use services and they don't read the contract and they don't know. So people are saying things like, Amazon is free and publishers pay you and, but if they cost a lot of money and da 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 da. I said this yesterday, I'll probably say it again tomorrow, but it's really important. Authors always pay to be published. We always pay to be published. And that's as it should be. Publishing is a service. We don't do it by ourselves, so we need to get some help in. If you are trade published, they will take a lot of your revenue and give you back some of it as a small royalty and an advance on royalties. If you are published by Kobo or Amazon, they will charge you at the point of sale. So they don't get paid till you do. So look at services that don't get paid until you get paid. They're good services to use. But you may also want to buy some service up front and pay for it. Read the contract there. That's really, really important. We have a book called Choosing a Self-Publishing Service, and I really would, if you are thinking of using assisted self-publishing services, I would really recommend that you don't do so until you've read the book.